Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight's on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
This is the beefer.
And
They brought a couple beefers with them.
that and not a whole bunch more at all on tonight's Banned from Ringside podcast. I don't know. Thought I fat fingered it, but
The first time you did.
but I didn't. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I am your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. K. Abraham Lincoln. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, you know how we do. Shit, another day, another dollar, man. We're ready to pass out some favors, man. I'm so excited, man.
It's the best show of the year.
This is one of my favorite fucking shows ever. Just going back and trying to figure out when we did it. I had to go back on Blog Talk Radio. So if you wanted to go back and check some old shit out, blogtalkradio.com. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 291, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. Be for time, baby. Let's do this shit.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beer. Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer?
Beer Far West is in the house.
Feeling pretty beefy. Ready to start some beef. I've been on Twitter for like 3 weeks. I feel like I'm just ready to start so much beef.
I saw you get back on there and like a couple though.
He's ready. He's got the grill ready.
I just like the one from the one guy who said not only voted for me but commented that I was the most hated podcaster, and
Unbelievable.
I appreciate the level of commitment that took, and so I also thought it was very funny.
I mean, truly unbelievable. I texted you guys today from work. I said, this is the kind of energy that we want from our listeners.
I was like, man, the only reason you even saying that shit because it ain't got your name attached to it.
Oh, my God. That killed him. That absolutely killed him.
That motherfucker said 2 emoji beer. I'm like, damn.
So, we started the Beefers, which are our annual wrestling awards. We are going for the calendar year of 2022, not the wrestling fiscal year, which, you know, generally is from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. We do the calendar year, which seems counterintuitive to me, just because it really fucking puts Wrestle Kingdom, which is often one of the best shows of the year, if not the best show of the year, it puts it way in your rear view mirror, and the only thing that we're thinking about is this year's Wrestle Kingdom, but neither here nor there. This is our 6th annual Beefers. That means we started the podcast in May 2017, so you got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. We have done 6 Beefer Awards, and this is the 6th. So what a ride it's been, boys. I can't believe we've been doing the podcast this goddamn long to be able to do 6 Beefers, but I hope that we do 60.
I was about to say, the good part about it is wrestling always gives us something to talk about, with good, bad, or indifferent. So in this scenario, I'm glad we're getting ready to pass out some shit. But obviously, we're going to do a quick pause first.
Quick pause first.
I do want to say I hope that we do 69 of them just so I can say nice and then die.
Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
I almost died right there.
He's heating up. Oh my God! See, I don't know what's doing that. That is not the. It seems like every button I hit.
This is Banned.
Okay.
That's really
See?
strange.
See?
The NBA Jam goes along with it.
Right.
So if you hear it throughout the show, you're going to hear a lot of drops throughout the show.
Seems like it.
If NBA Jam goes along with it, that's not my fat fingers. That is probably the cold, or maybe the roadcaster's getting old or something. But before we get into the fun that is the Beefers, there's no easy way to do this tone shift here. This would have been a perfect week to do the Beefers because it was a slow week in ring. It was a slow week out of ring, except for one extremely tragic event, and that was Jay Briscoe passed away in a car accident on Tuesday night at the age of 38. It seemed like it was a head-on collision. It happened at 5:30 at night. He was taking his 2 daughters, who are 12 and 9 years old, to one of them to cheer practice or something like that. One of them is still in very critical condition. I don't think that she has the use of her legs right now, which is terrible, obviously. And the other one is not as in bad a shape, but our hearts certainly go out to them first and foremost. That is, I mean, it's unbelievable that to really like, you know, when we were texting about it Tuesday night, Zach even said they just had the best year of their careers, which is a fucking insane thing to say about Jay Briscoe, because Jay Briscoe is really kind of the face of Ring of Honor. He has been at Ring of Honor since he was 18 years old. He's 38 now. He was the inductee. He was in the original class of inductees into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. He has never been in WWE. There are probably reasons for that, but I'm not going to... even as a journalist like I am, I don't feel the need like other people have to take a guy for his worst moment, which he said some very unfortunate things back in, I think it was like 2011 or 2012 or something like that. And it's like first and foremost in their obituary. That's not the way that we're going to be here at Bad from Ringside. We're not going to judge him by his worst moment. We're going to judge him by his best moments. And I'll tell you what, his name, even if he hadn't passed away a couple nights ago, his name would have came up many times on tonight's program because, like Zach said, they just had a career year. The Briscoe brothers, he and his brother Mark Briscoe, Irish twins, basically. They look a lot alike, and they were, I should say, one of a kind. Jason, your thoughts on the passing of Jay Briscoe?
Shocking to say the least. Not even the tag team portion of it, but he was a Ring of Honor champion. He beat Jay Lethal. That was the first time I really even took note of, who the Briscoe brothers were. Jay Lethal at that time had both the Ring of Honor and the TV champion, so he's double champion at the time. He's having an amazing run, and all of a sudden this guy comes up named Jay Briscoe and takes the Ring of Honor world title away from him. So, I mean, at that point, he definitely caught my attention from there. It's a damn shame where, and I'll just say this, and Zach can take it from here. It's a damn shame where you have a situation like this, and the Briscoe brothers, like you said, and we'll be bringing them up more. They've had a career year here, arguably one of their best years, and there was so much more on the table, and you will never get to see it. So I guess this is just for me thinking about things in life. You got to strike when the iron's hot, and we joke about it here on Band from Ringside about, they waited. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with the Briscoes' career. There's nothing left that Jay Briscoe could have done. He did it all in Ring of Honor, obviously in the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. But for me, when I found that out and I heard it, that was one of the first things I thought about was, just taking advantage of opportunities when they're there. And I'm glad that they got the chance to have this trilogy with FTR, because honestly, you didn't know if it was going to happen. And once it happened, the first one, I was just like, it was like a load off of my mind. And then as we got 2 and 3, it was just like, cherries on top of the cake. But ultimately, I guess that's where I'm going with it. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. It's a damn shame. And I just wish there was, something more that it could have been done for him. But, it is what it is. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe.
Yeah, man. This just sucks. Really hits hard. I'm reading this Reddit thread, which is like the blurriest Reddit thread I've experienced in a long time. There's just all of these wrestlers and other media people expressing their condolences and like sharing memories about the dude. One of the users tweeted a video of him and his daughter, one of his daughters who was in the car with him, and he's doing like this cheer routine with her and being silly, and he's got his hair tied up in a bow, just like she does, and he's like helping her practice the routine. It was from a couple years back, apparently like in the middle of the pandemic, and just like totally heartbreaking. They're from like a small town out there, and he like coached football, and I think his wife worked at the school also, and just like obviously really involved in his kids' lives. And their family's just like taking a big hit. So, yeah, outside of all that, I mean, I think a lot of people have just been introduced to the Briscoes, which is crazy because they've been around for 20 years. But that feud with FTR really elevated them to the next level because they haven't been in, big leagues as far as like WWE. Haven't seen a lot of major television. So I think surprisingly, a lot of people are kind of just being introduced to them, and there's a wealth of shit out there. They wrestled all the best current stars, that all those guys that came through Ring of Honor, they're in WWE, they're in AEW, and yeah, so anxious to see what they shot a 1 hour video or a 1 hour show special because Warner Media wouldn't let them do it on Dynamite apparently, as far as a tribute show on Dynamite, because that's another reason why they weren't allowed in AEW, and they weren't, WWE didn't want anything to do with them, even though they were so talented. And yeah, anxious to see that show because, we had that Brody Lee show, which is one of the best television wrestling shows I've ever seen. And I expect something, good, not just from that show, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of Jay Briscoe tag team tournament each year or something.
You stole my thunder. That was the one thing I forgot to say, and I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if they had something like that moving forward.
Be better in the World Tag League.
Well, we don't have to belabor the sadness too much. He was legitimately great, and in a industry full of lovable freaks and people that might not fit the mold of somebody who's usually on TV. They were oddly even less telegenic than a lot of other wrestlers, and I say that with absolute love. To find out that he was such a family man is a real testament to how well they played their backwoodsy characters, because you can go down, and I did a few years ago because my friend Bert, who used to listen to the podcast, I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to post Briscoe Brothers promos, YouTube promos on Facebook all the time, and there's one where they cut a promo in their shed, and I believe they're cutting it on what was it, Kings of Wrestling? Was that Chris Hero and Claudio?
Sounds right, yeah. I was about to say, where's High Five Time when you need him?
That might be completely wrong in High Five Time.
Yeah, he'll say something.
Feel free to correct me, but they cut this promo in their shed about getting their lawn equipment stolen, and I swear to God, it's one of the coolest, funniest fucking promos you'll ever see, and they equate their lawn equipment getting stolen to this upcoming match with, I think it's the Kings of Wrestling. Anyway, very unique guys, very intimidating. I would have been intimidated by them had I ever met them.
Yeah, Jay Briscoe looked like that dude.
Well, his brother looks even crazier, and and it kind of seems like Mark Briscoe's kind of been forgotten about that in all of this. And of course, his kids and his wife, of course, but his brother, who he spent all those years with, touring up and down and fighting all those matches with his brother Mark Briscoe, I can only imagine what he's going through right now. So,
I think it was his birthday, or it was the day before
yesterday.
His birthday,
I think it was Mark Briscoe's birthday. It was just now that it's the double whammy.
All that is to say, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. And if you're not that familiar with Jay Briscoe matches, feel free. I fully encourage you to go familiarize yourself with them. And if you're not familiar with some of their promos, I couldn't recommend them more. They are very entertaining and a very good YouTube hole to go down. So rest in peace, Jay Briscoe.
Amen.
There is no easy way to transition to this except for we're going to honor his legacy by talking about professional wrestling, and we're going to do it right now. So without further ado,
here you go.
This is the Beefers.
Nice.
This is the Beefers, baby. It is our 6th annual. We have all of our traditional categories. I added a couple more on Twitter, and we did it a little bit differently this year. We did it a little different. We tried to narrow it down to 3 finalists in each one. Now, I feel like, and maybe Zach can back me up here, I feel like we explained this beefer process to Jason like 3 weeks in a row. See, I didn't even do that.
No, I think you were hitting. There you go.
That is weird because I'm not even touching it. I feel like we explained this to Jason 3 weeks in a row, and I'm still getting text messages from Jason around Monday being like, so do I have to do anything for the beefers? It's like, well, you can help out with the 3 finalists each time, but if you don't feel like it, me and Zach can do it. So if there's any honorable mention, oh my God, you were staring fucking daggers through me, man.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this is going, so I'm just looking at you to see where this is going first before I say anything.
All I'm saying is, if I had a vote for the most hated BFR podcaster of the year, I know who I would have voted for.
Okay.
Jesus, God, man, he is not.
I mean,
you're being so serious.
I wasn't sure what the fuck you were talking about.
I feel like we explained to you what our new process was for the beefers, and I guess you just disengaged the entire time.
If clearly you weren't paying attention, I lost my phone on Monday, so that was part of the issue.
It was before that, though.
Okay, I mean, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to respond to this.
He just came out swinging.
I'm just like, okay, so
I'm trying to get a little animosity going.
Oh,
so
no, you ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. No. You ain't got to do it like that. You ain't got to do it like that. No, now you got it. Now, nigga here. Nigga here now. No, too late. Nigga here now. Yeah. Nigga here now. Yeah, nigga here now. You fucked it up, okay? Now you got me. I mean, I don't understand what the problem is. You sat over here. No. Okay, my ass, motherfucker. Don't be fucking with me. You over here fucking with me, man. Stop fucking with me, okay? Leave shit alone.
Fine
my ass. No, you don't get to say find my ass because you done. You ain't done until I'm done. Now I'm done.
So we're gonna start off with the one that we put 3 finalists out on Twitter, and we let the people vote. And we let the people vote, like I said last week, so we could tell you guys how wrong you were the entire time. So we
Christ.
Actually had
okay.
we had a bunch of engagement on this, and we want to thank everybody on Twitter that voted. We had 85 votes. 85 votes.
I'm impressed.
For this one coming up here. So we're going to tell you what the people did. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you all 3 finalists. Us 3 are going to discuss it, and then we're going to have one beefer, and then we're going to say what the people did. So, starting off, we're going to start off with the big one. We're going to start off with the best pay-per-view of the year. The 3 finalists are... Oh, hold on a second. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah, I've got to turn it up one.
This is the Beefers.
There you go.
This is the beefer best pay-per-view of the year. The 3 finalists are AEW Revolution, WrestleMania 38, which was a 2-night event, and Forbidden Door, which Jason was at. Jason, I want to hear what you choose.
Come on now. I was going to say, this is a slam dunk for me. When you have a cross-promotion event in North America, in Chicago, 4 hours away from me, and then you bring out some of the best, you bring Shibata in as a surprise swerve, arguably a match of the year candidate in Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. You had a couple great title matches on top. Jon Moxley gets booed. I mean, I'm not sure what more I can ask for from a live event. So, yes, I will be the first to say this is a total homer call, and I have no problem with saying that it is. For me, Forbidden Door was the best pay-per-view of the year. A, because I was there, but B, the roll call of just talent. I mean, WWE is the only roster that I can think of that could arguably measure up against this talent on a one-night card.
Think if either one of those rosters would have been at full strength.
Right.
I mean,
so many guys that were not there.
This was almost like a cursed pay-per-view from the get-go, like when you think about how many guys were hurt coming into it, and they still put on a tremendous show. Also, the hottest crowd imaginable. I mean, maybe the hottest crowd I've ever seen at a wrestling show of that size.
It was pretty fucking nuts. I was just happy to be there, man. Honestly, it was a great time. Shout out to, once again, my wrestling Lord and Savior, High Five Tom, for hooking it all up. But yeah, for me, like I said, this is a homer pick. It's for Forbidden Door.
Zach, I want to hear what your choice is.
So, I feel like outside of the surrounding circumstances, it would have been Forbidden Door, like, hands down, but it's actually probably my third pick here. It was fantastic, but because of all of the injuries and things that surrounded it, and also injuries that happened on the show, that four-way for the IWGP was kind of overshadowed by Adam Cole getting a concussion that knocked him out for 6 months. Brian Danielson, we got Claudio and Zach, which was good, but not Danielson. We had my favorite three-man group probably of all time with the worst name, the Dudes with Attitudes, Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Takagi. Oh, my God. Versus the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo. Just fantastic
stuff. You
stuff.
like them better than the Briscoes and Yano?
I don't know. Maybe I was
about to say, probably not the pod to be saying no shit like that.
But yeah, so this one is tough for me, though, because WrestleMania was such a banger. It was such a spectacle. We got the return of maybe my favorite wrestler of all time, and and Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling a phenomenal match with Kevin Owens, just way better than expected. Just really kind of overachieved even for WrestleMania. Whenever you think WrestleMania, you don't often think overachieved, and it did. For me, it's almost a toss-up between that and Revolution. I thought Revolution was so impressive because of the main event wasn't even really the main event. The main event was actually the dog collar match. I feel like the one that sold the pay-per-view. It was Punk and MJF, which I feel like kind of gets lost in the discussion in 2022, that feud and just all the shit that happened with CM Punk, which we'll talk about later. That match and that feud was phenomenal.
You think we'll talk about Punk tonight?
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. Kingston and Jericho, opened that thing, and it was just, I feel like kind of start to finish, this was a fantastic pay-per-view, and I feel like there was a little more highs and lows with WrestleMania, as there tends to be. So, you know what? My choice.
Yeah,
it's WrestleMania.
Okay, so got one for Forbidden Door, one for WrestleMania. AEW Revolution was tremendous, and it was the best AEW pay-per-view this year out of their big four. That's a not a no-brainer, but it was awesome. But that's the third out of these. The reason that's third is because AEW always puts on great pay-per-views, and it's kind of, if anything, it's a little hurt in my mind because I was expecting it to be great, and it was great. Forbidden Door was a question mark, and the reason it was a question mark was because of all the injuries and because some of the matches didn't really make any sense, and there was a bunch of, in terms of like build or why are they doing this, Forbidden Door overachieved, and it put a lot of fears to rest when it comes to thinking about the relationship between AEW and NJPW. WrestleMania 38, when you talk about overachieving, WrestleMania 38 was the best WrestleMania that I've ever seen. Maybe. We're
maybe.
Question mark? Come on, man. Say it with your chest, dog.
You got the return of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, if not my favorite wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, fighting my favorite WWE wrestler in Kevin Owens. You had this didn't make it into the markout moment of the year, or we didn't have a botch of the year, which I wanted to have, but Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon was one of the most with the most awful sell of a stun, the worst stunner you've ever seen, and therefore,
I agree with that.
And therefore, it's one of the best stunners of all time. And you had Cody versus Seth, which we'll talk about later in Match of the Year. And then who can forget Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair was a tremendous women's match. My women's match of the year, probably, not to step on anything. And then, don't forget, we had Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn in another match that completely overachieved. That if you haven't gone back and listened and haven't watched the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold and Sami Zayn, where they basically dissect that match, and it will add a new level. You'll have a new level of appreciation for that match. That match was completely fun. There's probably a few that I'm forgetting about, but
the debut of Logan Paul, where he was the best thing in a match, including Rey Mysterio.
You also had, and I don't want to go back to Stone Cold again, but you also had Pat McAfee and Austin Theory taking stunners in completely different ways, but also two completely great ways, like original ways to take stunners. It was tremendous. I hate to do this. I have to vote WrestleMania 38. So WrestleMania 38 wins.
This is the Bayford.
Our first Beefer Award, WrestleMania 38, is the pay-per-view of the year. Maybe a little bit shocking. The people, WrestleMania 38 gets 39% of the vote. AEW Revolution and Forbidden Door tie with 29% of the vote. And other, please comment, came in with 3% of the vote, but nobody commented. So I don't know what it was.
You say, other, okay, and we're good.
I have no idea what it could have been, but we'll have to stop right there and let's keep it moving.
This
He's
is the
heating up.
Bayford.
Hold on.
This is the Bayford.
This is gonna be great.
For the next Beefer Award, and I'm just kind of doing these in a random ramshackle type way because I kind of want to save some good. Well, it's kind of like a wrestling. It's kind of like a card,
Yeah, I hear you.
Let's go with the worst feud/angle of the year. Now, there was only one that Zach gave me on his notes, so I had to I had to dig real deep because it's hard for me to remember shit. I got a lot of shit going.
Dude, I
through my
gave you
brain.
4.
I didn't see your 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You sent them to me on text.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, see, now I know. Now I know why you're mad. Now I know why you're mad.
Yeah.
He's heating up.
Yeah, that's why when you're looking at me talking about being disregarding.
Okay. What were the ones that you had?
I ranked it 1 through 4 just because I thought that's the way we were going to do it. To me, the worst feud or angle came from Impact Wrestling. Is the Digital Media Championship. Nobody even knows what it is, and they have a title for it, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Second, I had House of Black from AEW. So much potential, so much talent, just nothing going on, nowhere to go. Third, I had Ezekiel coming back as the number 3 worst angle. Elias was cool.
That should be
Ezekiel,
on best angle. I'm just joking.
Ezekiel was just not for me personally. And then New Japan had obviously House of Torture. That nothing more needs to be said about that.
Okay.
You know what's hilarious about that Ezekiel thing? I don't want to get too into it, but Kevin Owens has just come off of wrestling Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they put him in this shitty feud in this shitty angle,
And he got it over.
sold it so well because he's like, fuck it. He's like, I already lived my life's dream.
Pretty much.
I'm just gonna kick ass at everything I do and put my, you can go one way or the other, and you can just be like, I'm cashing my checks and I'm not doing shit. He's like, I'm gonna put everything over.
Fuck it.
He actually got that shit over.
So your worst angle of the year is
For me,
Impact Digital Champion.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Zach,
Is that like an NFT championship?
No, it's like they have a legitimate title for it. Moose just won it at what was it? Hard to Kill. But it's supposed to, I guess, give link that to I guess their streaming site. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't even know what it's for.
I swear, when you said Ezekiel coming back, I thought you were talking about like some promotion that I didn't watch, and Ezekiel Jackson,
No.
Intercontinental Champion, member of the Core, with Wade Barrett. With Wade Barrett, I was like, oh, I didn't know Ezekiel Jackson came back.
I watch a lot of wrestling, but not that much.
The three that I put, the three that I put on Twitter were Miz and Dexter Lumis, which Zach put on there. I didn't hate it. I had the 24/7 title on there, and then I had Maximum Male Models. And I put that kind of as a goof because obviously everybody knows that's one of the best angles of the year. Zach, what is your least favorite angle of the year?
It was Loomis Miz because I can't think of two people I'd rather not see wrestle in a ring. So even though there was like good sight gags, like there were some good sight gags, but as soon it just went on forever. And once it got in the ring, you're just like, oh, why did they even put these guys together? Because now they have to wrestle, and it's like it's like eating your vegetables last.
That's really funny. I guess mine is the 24/7 title just because it took up too much time on every single Raw. It made Raw virtually unwatchable, and it's one of the first things that Triple H got rid of when Vince left. So mine would be 24/7 title. The people had Maximum Male Models win the worst feud / angle of the year with 38%. 24/7 title barely comes in second with 36%. And Miz and Loomis comes in at 24%. So,
I mean, I'd toss it to the 24/7. I'd lean into that.
Okay,
if we would give the beefer to that.
Okay, all right. 24/7
Because
title.
I nominated Miz Loomis, but I would say I would pick the 24/7 title. I didn't even think of it.
Fair enough.
For the record, I agree with the people on this one. I agree with the beefers. Maximum of the three that were listed, Maximum Male Models is just ugh.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
So coming up next, we have. I named this the Chad Gable beefer, aka the underrated wrestler of the year, because I have chosen Chad Gable the last 2 years, and I put Chad Gable on there kind of as a goof also. So the four that we have there are Takeshita, Logan Paul, Brandon Cutler, and Chad Gable. I'll go first. I voted. Or I didn't vote, but if I were going to vote, I would probably still take Chad Gable because he reminds me of my dude, Kurt Angle, and to me, he's the second coming of Kurt Angle. He is probably, if you let him rip, he'd probably be just as good in the ring. He got to show his charisma a lot this year. He was also kind of a Joe Bear adjacent type wrestler. I want them to do more with Chad Gable. So for the third year in a row,
ain't this a bitch?
I'm taking Chad Gable. Zach, who do you got?
This is always a tough category because how do you rate underrated? And I feel like traditionally we've considered it to be underutilized, right?
Yeah,
typically.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how because you could say underrated where people love people, but they still don't even realize how good they are.
But I mean, it's like the MVP in any sports league. Like it's kind of open to interpretation. It's just your vote.
Yeah, and I'd say just for parity's sake, I'll say kind of underutilized, and I will lean in and say in the same vein as Gable, I would say Takeshita because I feel like he's been. For a kind of relative rookie, for a newcomer, he's been in very high-profile matches, but that dude just has everything. And I'm not even being a mark and being like, this guy needs to be pushed. Everybody's like, everybody needs to be pushed. And my guy needs to be pushed, and he needs to push. And it gets old, that rhetoric. But Takeshita, I mean, there's no limit with this kid, and he should be out there winning matches as much as it is fantastic seeing him in there with these greats. So I'm going to go with Konosuke Takeshita.
Total package. Jason?
Stole my thunder, especially with the four that are given. The one that I guess that would I have it just to see the litmus test would have been Montez Ford. I know we see him in we see him in tag teams, but I just think that ultimately his biggest ceiling, wherever his future leads, will be in a solo effort, and I would have loved to see him on this poll or whatever the case may be. And just for the record, this is what I sent to you last week, so it's not like I just made this shit up.
I didn't see. Where did you send that to me?
It was on our text thread.
Fuck.
Now, that being said,
I just got owned. I get owned every single week. I got owned last week. Zach talking about Dave Meltzer. I get owned this week by Jason. Now I look like the asshole again. That's probably why one of the Beefer Awards turns out the way it does a little bit later.
Did you see that Meltzer got owned this week?
I saw Meltzer got owned this week because, I saw Bischoff going off on him, but it looked like Meltzer kind of owned it also.
What happened?
Yeah, he owned up to it. He got reporting. He got worked by, it was like a boomer work. He got scammed by an emailer who was like emailing him pretending to be one of the Dragon Gate wrestlers.
Ooh.
And then there was another email that was like collaborating the stories, and essentially it was like two people or maybe one person pretending to be one. But anyway, he thought he was reporting on like legit Dragon Gate stuff. And I mean, it's all the way across the
journalism,
the
man.
ocean, but he's just a total
that-
boomer situation.
But the headline that I saw was like Dave Meltzer accused of manufacturing or, accused of giving out bad headlines. But then the entire article was Dave Meltzer was the one that came out and said, I fucked up here. I shouldn't have reported on this, which is not the same. And I saw Eric Bischoff trying to bury him for it because Eric Bischoff hates him, obviously. But it's like so stupid. Like, he came out and said, I'm sorry, basically, and completely owned it. And it's, if a guy comes out and completely owns it and he doesn't do anything criminal, then it's kind of hard to pile on him,
Journalism, man.
Totally.
Hard sport to stay in. I'm glad you're the only journalist on this.
No, you're a journalist, too.
No, I ain't no journalist.
Capital J.
Getting back on track, I agree with everything that Two Beer said, especially as I watched a couple of DDT matches with Takeshita in it. It's he's the same guy on screen, in ring, but just totally different. And I'm just going under the assumption that a lot of people aren't going back and looking at old Takeshita matches. So in that scenario and everything that Two Beer said on top of it, I agree with Two Beer. I'm going with Takeshita.
A shocking turn of events here on the people. So Takeshita wins our beefer.
Yes.
Right? Like the
2-1.
The people don't get a vote. I want everybody to understand this. You people don't get a vote. We're just comparing what we said against you. All right? So, but Takeshita
You
wins.
leaning into this, motherfucker.
Wait till you see the votes. Wait till you see the votes.
You said, fuck it. If I won't go out, I'm going out banging.
But the people had Logan Paul at 34% of the vote, and Takeshita came in third by 1 percentage point to Chad Gable, who had 27% of the vote. Takeshita had 26. Brandon Cutler had 13. I don't know how Twitter does it, but they could have been tied, and maybe it was like they rounded up for somebody or something. But Logan Paul won of the people. Logan Paul is not a bad vote, by the way. Logan Paul is something else.
Yeah, but I mean, damn, it's not like he wrestled Roman Reigns. I mean, at that point,
Takeshita wrestles good ones too.
I guess he wrestled Moxley. Fair enough. Go ahead.
Yeah. But Brandon Cutler came in fourth with 13. I don't even know why Zach put him on here. I've never seen the guy wrestle. He's the one that just walks around with the mace, right?
He does like dark and dark elevation. I mean, all bullshit. He actually is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Check out old PWG with Cutler. Like, he would team with the Young Bucks, and he's phenomenal.
This is the Beeford.
Women's match of the year.
I put him on there, though, because he's the best geek I've ever seen in wrestling.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
He's the best.
He is pretty good. The women's match of the year. So we have Syuri versus Julia at Queendom. We have Kairi versus Iwatani Iwatani at Historic Takeover. I've never been clear on how to say that. We have
Crossover.
Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida on Dynamite, and Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. I'll go first, and I'll speak as the non-Stardom watcher here because I did see the crossover match. I did not see the Queendom match. I saw the Hayter and Shida Dynamite match. My vote is for Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Call me a normie, call me a mark, call me whatever you want, but that is a huge moment in front of a huge crowd with huge expectations, and those two women delivered. Bianca Belair is a phenom. I don't think there's any other way to say it. And this match over-delivered as far as I'm concerned. So that is my women's match of the year. Jason.
Yeah, I was about to say I should probably go next because Two Beer is probably going to be the deciding vote on this one. For a long, long time, I had Starlight Kid versus Azumi for my women's match of the year out of Stardom. I thought the match itself was amazing. The bill was just as good. But then once again, on the 29th of December, final match of the year for Stardom, they over-delivered once again with Shuri versus Julia. For the final match of the year, I'm going with that. When you have a suplex into chairs within the first 5 minutes of the match, that's really all I need to know of how this match was going to go. So, yeah, it was a crying achievement for Julia to beat Shuri. Obviously, that's another story for another time. See us on the Phoenix Splash podcast for all that. But enough said. I'm going Julia Shuri.
All right, Zach, you're the deciding vote. Women's match of the year. Who you got?
Yeah, I 100%. I mean, the other ones are definitely great, but Julia Shuri was over the top fantastic. It was not just, in my opinion, the best women's match of the year, at least that I saw. I mean, I didn't watch every women's match, but it was one of the matches of the year. And I don't watch Stardom as religiously as Jason, but I appreciate his password because I get to watch it often enough and I keep up with it. And I mean, kind of the overarching story.
Two jobs ain't
people bad. Assumed that Julia was going to win this title. Like, this has been like a long time coming. This is a long time story. Julia exudes charisma. She is absolutely a star, and she is great as Shuri is, as great as Itami is, and all of these women in this promotion. Like, Julia feels the most like a star, and people, whenever she came into the promotion, just assumed that she would be, skyrocketing to the top, and she struggled, and she's, they're part of the faction, the BDM faction, and just this whole road to, and then they have this culminating match where, like Jason said, it's just bonkers. It's suplexes onto chairs on the outside. It's pile drivers through tables. It's some of the most exhausted you will ever see two people in the ring, and it was selling, because they're both phenomenal performers, and just a beautifully just it was like a beautiful disaster of a match. I implore you to watch it, Bill, because it's just fantastic wrestling. You'll be over the moon, and then you'll be like, "Ooh, I need to get this password and use it more often," because that's the kind of shit that Stardom is.
Nah, he ain't gonna do that shit, man. I was about to say, let that man ride.
So, the beefer for women's match of the year, sorry, I think I lost it here, it's Shuri?
Shuri versus Julia.
Shuri Julia, which had 22% of the vote on Twitter. Belair and Lynch had 28% of the vote. And the winner, far and away, kind of, was Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida on Dynamite with 47% of the vote. So,
interesting.
We are going to keep it moving because we got a bunch of beefers to go.
He's heating up.
Hold on a second.
This is the beef.
Okay, that was your thumb was kind of close on that one. Your thumb was kind of close on that one. I'm looking at you, dude.
This is the beefer. This is the beefer. This is the Beeford.
He's heating up.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Your thumb was a little close on that one. I'm watching you.
All right, so let's go with the overrated wrestler of the year.
Okay. For the record, once again, Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Listen, Jason, I'm going to say it to you now in front of Vice. Vice just showed up in front of Vice, in front of Two-Rear Zach Pullman, in front of you. In my home with my wife, my child, my cats, and my dog. I am going to apologize that I did not see what you said.
I don't mail shit in, motherfucker.
You sent a screenshot. You took a picture of it?
Yes.
I did not see it. So I apologize, Jason. My apologies.
Can I go first?
Please.
Ronda Rousey, period.
Okay, can I hear the rest of your? I want to hear the rest.
Okay, well, the fact that you, if you're a Sasha Banks fan, you should be mad that Ronda Rousey's even here because Ronda Rousey has Sasha Banks' money. Ronda Rousey has gotten paid for this. She's come back. She has been champion. Couldn't get Liv Morgan over for obvious reasons because I just don't think it's realistic enough that you can put these two people in the ring, not unless you're just a Liv Morgan fan and you just love Liv Morgan. So at that point, there's nothing that can be said. Reasonable wrestling fans can look at that match, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's going to lose, period. Okay, nothing that can be done about that. The match itself was bad. You brought in Shotzi. Okay, the spot where she didn't even sell for Shotzi. Here's the spot. I mean, you're going to win. You're going to win, and you couldn't sell one fucking move. One. The first run, we all gave her props. Because we didn't know we were going to get, and they over-delivered. The second time, she has come in with a gun, a ski mask, and Shayna Baszler watching the goddamn door. I'm robbing you motherfuckers for all this money. While Sasha Banks is trying to get this money, and whether you like Sasha Banks or not, I think we can all agree Sasha Banks greater than Ronda Rousey. For me, Ronda Rousey is the most. And then they brought Charlotte in, and then within seconds,
he's heating up.
They had her snatch the title off of fucking Ronda Rousey like it wasn't shit. Now, if that ain't saying overrated, I don't know what says overrated. Ronda Rousey,
He's heating up.
overrated of the year.
Did you just see that whenever we kicked the ground?
That's why I was just like, well, you always tell me don't pay attention to it. Don't.
No, I have no idea
I was
what's
just like,
going
fuck
on.
it, I'm just gonna keep going.
For the people here, I am not touching the button. I am kicking the ground. Watch. Okay, I'm not touching the button.
He's heating up.
Boom.
So Bo's laughing over here. All right, cut it out. That's enough. All right. So.
I'm about to start stopping there like 30
for
seconds.
the overrated wrestler of the year, what I put on Twitter was Bray Wyatt, CM Punk, Austin Theory, and other. Please comment. Other got 7% of the vote. Nobody commented. But Zach, I'll let you go first.
Why are you not commenting?
I'll let you go second. Sorry.
Trying to think of who else might have a character in Raid Shadow Legends.
You know, I gave Jason some shit for not being prepared, but here you are trying to think on the podcast.
No, that was
he tried to wind me up again.
Motherfucker.
He tried to wind me up again. I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to apologize to Jason all over again.
I know what you're going to say. Just go ahead and say it, motherfucker. Just go ahead and say it. Say it with your chest.
It was just a joke. I feel like Jason convinced me. I was going to say Bray Wyatt, but I feel like we haven't seen him wrestle all year, and we saw a bunch of Ronda Rousey be terrible. So I think I'll go with Ronda Rousey.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what I say because Ronda Rousey has won the beefer. But for my money, yes, Ronda Rousey sucks and is overrated. But for my money, it's you know, sometimes I just think about who's the most overrated wrestler, and I just look out to all you people, and I've never got to be myself, and now here I am. I'm trying to tell you who the most overrated wrestler is, and
I'll say this.
It's Husky Harris.
If Ronda Rousey wasn't so ridiculously bad, I would agree with Bray because we haven't seen
somebody,
anything.
Man.
Thank you. We haven't seen anything up to this point, and now it's bled over to 2023. And the first match is a Mountain Dew pitch dark match. A, we don't even know what it is. B, I mean, what's this? The last few fucking Bray Wyatt gimmick matches have been questionable at best. I liked the Firefly Funhouse with John Cena.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good.
So did I. It was
really good.
It was pandemic good.
I thought it made you think.
I think that the Pitch Black match is a match. It's about an hour and 50 minutes long, and it takes place in a science fiction movie where Vin Diesel walks around as a blind guy on a foreign planet.
Never seen that movie. Ain't planning to see that shit. I'm gonna watch this shit though.
I've been thinking about that joke all day.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'll say this, and we can move on if you want to. Whatever this match is for Royal Rumble, this Pitch Black match, it's gotta work. Because if it doesn't, he can't have any more cinematic matches, any more gimmick matches. They're gonna have to go away from this.
Well, I was thinking about this today because when I was thinking about that joke, I was thinking about the Pitch Black match, and like it's LA Knight's first main roster pay-per-view match. And I was thinking, man, he has basically no pressure on him.
No.
Because it's not.
Nope.
It's not up to him. It's not up to him to sell this shit.
Nope.
It's completely up to Bray Wyatt.
I was about to say, y'all better figure this shit out. I'm gonna take the 1, 2, 3. But
so LA Knight basically cannot look any worse coming out of this.
No.
I'm an LA Knight fan.
No, I am too. After
he has
all
won my
of this,
feud of the year before with Cameron Grimes, if you remember.
I know, that was last year.
I remember Zach going, I probably said this before. He was like, really?
You serious? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm fucking serious, man. I liked it. I like Butler stories.
Hey, motherfucker, I'm sitting right here.
Big Mr. Belvedere fan.
I was about to say, fuck Mr. Belvedere. I was about to say, this is wrestling, okay?
I'm talking about Jeff
Phil, who's the boss?
I was about to say, DiBiase over here. Everybody's got a price for the $1 million man.
But yeah, my vote's for Bray Wyatt.
I do think it's funny that in the year 2000, the coolest a human being could look, at least in my opinion, as a 15-year-old boy, was a black tank top and eyeballs that looked like I poured the inside of a Polaroid picture into them.
I'm dead.
They brought a couple
He's
beefers
heating up.
Yeah, gotta get them both. Gotta get it both from now.
He's heating up.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
Okay. Everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck are these jokers doing?
So, like I said, I'm trying to bounce around a little bit. So let's go with. So we're gonna have the WWE. We're gonna have the WWE match of the year, AEW match of the year, NJPW match of the year, all coming up, and tag team match of the year. But here we're gonna do the other match of the year, which I let Zach choose all these. Unless maybe you had them. I'm sure. Look at Jason. God damn it! I already apologized, dude.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Zach had Vikingo Phoenix, Vikingo Laredo Kid, Vikingo Bandito, and other. Please comment. Other. Please comment. Got 16%. Nobody commented.
They were also Vikingo matches.
Niggas
though.
is tired.
I guarantee it.
There had to be Vikingo matches.
I was about to say, pick a Vikingo.
So Jason, go ahead.
Holy shit. What's this again? Other match of the well, I was about to say other match of the year. Speedball versus Josh Alexander, I thought was one that for Impact that went 60 minutes. Josh Alexander steals it at the very end. I thought that was something that was out there and that we didn't even talk about. Mox MJF, we talked about that. Okada Ospreay is on my list. Cody Seth 3 is on the list. So, I mean, for me, the only one that isn't on the list that we were nominating is Speedball versus Josh Alexander. And I think for people that don't know who Mike Bailey is, he's had an incredible 2022. He was stuck in, I believe it was in Canada for the pandemic, and then came down, and then just anytime you had a chance for him to wrestle, he wrestled, and then ended up having him and Josh Alexander in an open challenge for the Impact title on free TV. They went 60 minutes. It was an amazing fucking match. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube, check that shit out. But the only one that I can think of that is on my list that's probably been nominated, or at least for the three that's on Twitter, is, like I said, Josh Alexander versus Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Zach.
Of the three Vikingo matches that I nominated, I got to go. They were all phenomenal, like, and not even really in different ways, but they did different moves in them. They were phenomenal, like, in the same way. I got to go with Vikingo and Phoenix because I just think they're probably the two best high flyers in the business right now, and watching them do stuff that I've never seen happen before in a ring. I watched that match like twice in a row. And I don't mean like, oh, I watched it once and then I watched it like the next day. The match ended and I just started it back over.
Yeah, my vote is for Vikingo Phoenix. If you remember, Vikingo and I have had a very tumultuous 2022.
Well, spit that shit out.
Listen, I take, if we do,
this is like you falling on the sword for multiple shit.
What do? We do 49 or 50 podcasts a year. So I eat shit probably 100 times, right?
Not like this, like one episode. I mean, it's almost getting hard to watch.
All right, Giggle Twins.
No. Say what you're gonna say, because I know where you're going with it. Go ahead and say it. I'll shut up.
The biggest L that I took all year was when Vikingo was number 8 in the PWI 500 list, and the two hipster nerds that I do a fucking podcast with were both like, oh, yeah, Vikingo, oh, yeah, he fucking rules. And I'm like, we've never even mentioned him. Like, we've done 280 episodes, and this guy has never been mentioned on our podcast. I
think that was a W for you, because really, I mean, that was a W not only in the sense that you were 100% right, that, yeah, he's never been mentioned, but it was a W because you were introduced to Vikingo.
Well, I sought out Vikingo matches. I watched Vikingo versus Phoenix, and I got to say, I was 1,000% completely blown away. I was like, this guy is basically my favorite wrestler now. This is fucking unbelievable. I've watched all 3 of these matches. I think they're the only 3 Vikingo matches I've watched. But they are.
I'm dead.
He is unbelievable. But you never forget your first. Vikingo Phoenix was the first Vikingo match that I watched, and I was completely blown away. And I love him, and I love him,
dead.
And that was my vote for other match of the year. So that wins the Beefer, and it's the first time that we are in Congress with the Twitter votes, because Vikingo Phoenix won 50%.
Damn.
Other, please comment, won 16%.
Nobody comment. Right?
I'll tell you when people comment.
I was about to say, I will take this dick versus other and then nothing.
All right, so we got some big ones coming. So I mean, we got to start getting in the big ones. Let's do the best feud / angle of the year, and the finalists on Twitter were, and then Jason, you can share with me yours that I didn't look because I was such a dick.
No,
but
just ain't doing your job.
The final 3 were Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, Cody and Seth, and MJF and Punk. And then other please comment got 0%, and nobody commented, so that's good. I'm on record as saying this. I'll go first. Sami Zayn and the Bloodline is the coolest WWE feud/angle that they have had in several years. I can't even remember the last one that's been this engaging and this cool that kind of makes SmackDown must see. So my vote is for Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, and to me, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is probably going to be universal. I was even going back when you had Jay versus Roman, and Jimmy was just starting to come back in. We were on board with that because there was a lot of guys doing roles.
We were way on board with that.
There was guys,
ruled.
yeah. There was guys just doing different roles and this was pandemic time.
Yeah, that was a Hell in the Cell in the Thunderdome.
So,
God damn.
Yeah.
Probably
Trip
the
off
best
that.
Thunderdome match there was.
And I can't disagree with that. I guess my point is that's where this whole thing started, where you had Jay doing things that you didn't think Jay would do. Roman's now this, up and emerging heel, and he's manipulating Jay, and Jimmy's on board now. And now we fast forward 2 years later, it's just like, man, shit, this is just what they do. It's the Bloodline. And now when I thought that the Bloodline was getting old, and not even getting old, just getting a little, stale, we need a little shake-up. Sami Zayn is the perfect shake-up. If I don't know how he's not on the list of Wrestler of the Year, is just crazy to me. I don't have him on my Wrestler of the Year, so I just need to smack myself. But neither here nor there. Sami Zayn added to the Bloodline, just gave it a little more pizzazz. Obviously, feeling Uzi in St. Louis is a high watermark for the Sami Zayn Bloodline connection that was in St. Louis. So for me, that's the whole reason I even put Sami Zayn plus the Bloodline. That moment here in St. Louis really set things off to give momentum to where if and when Sami Zayn gets kicked out, we can always look back to that moment.
It will go down as one of the it'll go down as a historic moment from a tremendous angle.
Yep.
People will be talking about feeling very Uzi for a long time. What do you got, Zach?
I think the only thing more universal than this decision is the Usos travel restrictions. This is the best storyline in WWE since we've been watching, or since we've been doing the podcast. It's the best storyline in wrestling, just hands down. And we talk about the Chad Gable Award of the year, and that's why sometimes I think of it in terms of underutilized, and sometimes I think of it in terms like Sami Zayn's a beloved character, but I still think that he's underrated in his potential in the sense that people don't realize just how special this dude is.
See that Johnny Knoxville match.
I mean,
exactly.
Dude, damn.
He is.
Go ahead.
So he is just so great, and I've been saying for a long time that he is arguably the greatest working character babyface just in wrestling. He is he was a fun smarmy heel and stuff and chicken shit heel when he was doing that icy stuff in the pandemic, but getting behind him and getting behind El Generico and getting behind Sami Zayn, just everybody wants to root for this guy, and he has the acting chops, and I can't say it's just him because the ensemble is great. Roman Reigns is the straight man, is phenomenal. He's really good at that role.
Are you saying right now that Sammy's a babyface?
Yeah.
So Sami is a babyface in a heel faction? Is that what we're saying?
I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
That's how. That might be.
I kind of feel bad for him, but he's still doing some ignorant ass shit.
That might be how good the angle is, though.
Maybe
we are discussing whether
but
or not.
This is Zach. Zach loves everything, so let's keep everything in perspective.
But he does get cheered like a babyface, though.
Yeah,
he does get cheered.
Yes, for sure.
It's not just Zach.
No.
Zach does look at everything.
Me.
Okay, and that was the whole point of Roman snapping.
Exhibit A when we saw the Dark Tower in the theater.
I regret that one. I've rescinded my. I was so happy to just see it, and I've discussed that before.
Did you see
but
Mike?
I fully rescind.
Did you see Mike Flanagan's going to do the Dark Tower with?
I did, and he's doing it just like it should be done with series and movies.
Yep.
Combined.
It's gonna fucking rule. We'll talk about that later. So
they better cast Paul Walter Hauser. Anyway.
Okay, so if
I'm
we're the
watching
Giggle,
Blackbird, man. Fuck.
okay, so we're the Giggle Twins. Are you guys like the?
The Nerd Twins?
I guess whatever,
Is that what you're
motherfucker.
gonna say?
Now I wasn't gonna say nerd shit. I like Star Wars, motherfucker. How am I gonna throw you niggas underneath the
You like
bus?
Star Trek too.
Yeah, not as much Star Wars.
Hey, you want a microphone? If you don't want a microphone, okay, Giggle Twins. All right, okay, Giggle Twins.
Hot
All right.
fire.
All right, Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy and the
No.
Bloodline. That is a unanimous.
This is the beefer.
Unanimous beefer.
Yeah, I
where
think that's.
with the Twitter vote of 67%.
What was the final three?
Sammy, Bloodline, Cody, Seth, and MJF Punk. MJF Punk got 21%. Punk got a lot of votes. Let's just go from there.
Yeah.
So
Segue to that shit.
MJF Punk got 21%. Cody and Seth got 13%. So we are going to talk about. Let me find. Okay, so this is the one I really want to talk about. The scandal / news story of the year. So there was some big ones this year, and this is the most newsworthy, most scandalous year that we've seen since we've been doing the podcast. It's probably the most scandalous since the Montreal Screwjob or since
That now is just one. That's just one event. One.
Owen dying. I don't know.
But still just one event per year.
So we have Vince steps down, CM Punk scrum / the Elite, whatever you call it, the brawl out, I guess is what they call it. And Cody leaves AEW, and then I just remembered this one the other day. I put it on the list, even though it got 0% on Twitter. And we talked about it last week. Shane McMahon booked his own Royal Rumble. And got fired from his dad's company that night and has not been back. Again.
They say, motherfucker, you don't know how to act. Go home.
Pretty unbelievable.
There goes the money.
So, Zach, I'll let you go first. Zach, what do you have as a scandal news story of the year?
In a year that was very tumultuous, it is 100% Vince. I mean, it just overtakes everything, overshadows everything, and we're still feeling the ramifications of this. And I mean, we're still feeling the ramifications of some of the other stuff, but it is small potatoes in regards to the greatest, or maybe not greatest, the most successful wrestling promoter of all time, not only being embroiled in sex scandals, but then stepping down, and now he's forcing his way back in. And
that'll be on next year's Beavers.
Yeah, that'll be that. It already is. That's the thing. It's like it's probably
bleeding over. It's like, damn, Vince is just gonna take this shit.
Vince sells to the Saudis. That's going to be the scandal of the year next year or whatever. But yeah, it's Vince. We've talked about it a bunch, and yeah.
So I'll let Jason go last because Jason's going to be the deciding vote on this.
What?
Yeah, I am picking the CM Punk / the Elite.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
As the scandal / news story of the year. And the reason why is because it's good pod. B, Vince getting embroiled in a Me Too controversy and having to step down is not exactly shocking. It was something that was a long time coming. In fact, when Me Too started back in 14 or 15 or whenever it was, there was a lot of years there where we probably, if you go back over the 208, how many podcasts have we done? What number is this?
291, sir.
If you go back over our 290 podcasts before this, we probably mentioned several times when's Vince going to get busted. It's going to happen sometime soon. The CM Punk scrum and CM Punk getting in a fight with Ace Steel and Ace Steel biting Kenny Omega and CM Punk's dog Larry. You know, I know CM Punk's
losing
dog's
teeth out of it. Yeah,
that's how big of a story it is. I know CM Punk's dog's name now. And for
That's pretty good.
He's heating up.
for that to happen,
unmolested by the way.
for that to happen, I was checking Twitter nonstop for 2 weeks straight because I was wondering what was happening. It was absolutely insane. It came the night that he won the championship, and then he got in a legit shoot fight backstage with his best friend against the EVPs of his company. He was eating fucking tater tots or something, sitting next to the owner of the company, and he was basically burying the company. He buried Adam Page. He buried the EVPs.
As champion.
As a champion that night. And they had
Jesus.
to basically do a complete reset afterwards. Vince steps down is probably the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But for my money, the CM Punk thing was more salacious in terms of me checking the news and piquing my interest as a wrestling fan. And for that reason, I am voting CM Punk Scrum / The Elite as my vote. Jason.
Damn.
I mean, Cody leaving AEW. When Cody left AEW,
That was a big deal.
we thought that was a huge fucking deal.
That was a big
we
fucking
came on
deal.
the podcast and we were like, "There's no way he's leaving." I don't think he's leaving. That's got to be a rumor, right? No, he's no way he's leaving.
God,
And
2022 has just been so much shit.
it's the greatest wrestling year of all time.
At least for us, there's plenty for us to talk about. I think you just talked me into it. I really think you just talked me into it. Vince, like you said, and we've been talking about it. This is what we said. We've been doing this since 17. Vince been doing some wild ass shit since 17. You know, we just kind of been waiting to see when the fucking hammer was going to come down. Nobody saw this shit coming. Nobody. I didn't even know this was happening until like hours later, and all of a sudden I'm seeing CM Punk, trending on Twitter. I'm like, oh, let's check this shit out. What the fuck is this? And that we have spent so much time on it to the point where Bill was like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We'll talk about Vince all the time. You know, Vince is an easy target. Easy target. We can talk about Vince all the time. It's just, it's so fun to punch Vince. CM Punk was just different. To see where he came from, coming back, taking back over, being this, one of the headline guys. And then when I watch this circus unfold, I'm like, God damn, this is so fucking crazy.
I had to replace the unprofessional bullshit for the.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
But it was such unprofessional bullshit. It was
with the owner of the company sitting next to him and not saying a word. I agree with you. It's CM Punk, Scrum, the Elite, the whole shebang. Vince was supposed to happen like 10 years ago, and it didn't. We just happened to see this one, in 2022, but nobody saw CM Punk coming.
This is like when Shakespeare in Love won the Oscar over Saving Private Ryan. This is a real upset.
You just saw
No,
Steven
you talked me into it.
Furiously eating a muffin.
Motherfucker.
He's like, I'm old, I'm tired, I work with fucking children, and like Tom Hanks is sitting next to him, like, what?
Okay.
I also want to point out this because this is a really weird one that it might not have won in a different year, but it definitely happened, and everybody forgot about it because so much shit happened about after it. In last year's
Shane is a really good one.
No, in last year's Royal Rumble, Mickie James entered the Royal Rumble wearing the Impact
World
Women's
Championship.
Champion.
Yeah.
And that is
Came out to her hardcore country, the whole shebang.
that is fucking strange. And I know that's not a scandal, But that is like kind of newsworthy, right?
It's newsworthy in just in the sense of
It was just
how,
something I remembered the other
Oh
day.
yeah, but it's new to me. It's newsworthy in the sense of how Vince was just chopping motherfuckers down, and now it came to Royal Rumble time, and you want to have 30 women out there, and it's like, okay, now what? Oh shit, we don't have 30 women on our roster to go. We can bring back, A, B, C, and D, and it still ain't gonna add up to 30. They did a business move that made sense for both sides. Everybody won.
All right, so
Triple
brought
H
a couple
booking Stephanie
beefers
to
with
win
him.
that one.
What'd you say? Did you say Stephanie?
Triple H booking Stephanie
You
to
ain't
win
shit.
this year.
You ain't shit.
That's why she resigned.
She getting healed up for the Royal Rumble. No, don't look at me. He made the joke. We're laughing. Go ahead.
They brought a couple
He's heating
beefers
up.
with him.
That's it. See, there you go. See, you're over here waiting for me. Just do your thing, man.
all right, so let's talk about the NJPW match of the year. So
Don't look at me.
I didn't see your votes, obviously, but
All the ones that I on the list I can agree with.
I put down 3, or Zach put down 3, and I agreed with them all, and then I put down another one that I remember being really good. Oddly enough, they all have Ospreay in them. So
Shocker.
It's Okada Ospreay in the G1 final, Okada Ospreay in Wrestle Kingdom, Shingo Ospreay in the G1, which was not the final, or Naito Ospreay at Autumn Battle.
Ugh.
Or is it Battle Autumn?
It's excuse me. It's Battle Autumn. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Jason. I know you got a lot of shit to say.
No. I honestly, I don't. To me, Will Ospreay has just been amazing all year long, and I'm not expecting him to get a lot of love here. But for me, he's been just consistent as a top performer, just top matches. Especially if you watch NJPW like I do, his backstage comments just hitting the point. All that being said, I'm going to go with the G1 Climax final with him versus Okada. Everything on the line. Okada is the final boss when it comes to Will Ospreay. They are, they were, I should say, Chaos members. It feels like it's Big Brother Okada versus Little Brother and Will Ospreay. The only win that Will Ospreay has over Okada is a tainted one. So ultimately, I think this is just going to be a big picture scenario for Will Ospreay. For this scenario, if I had to pick one, that's the one. Will Ospreay just looks amazing all the time, and Okada just steps up to the plate. I think with all the chips in the middle, it's hard for me to go away from the greatest wrestler in New Japan versus maybe the guy that's going to usurp him, but time will tell. Two Beer, what you got?
I absolutely have that match. I watched all of those matches in the last week of the year, just preparing for the Beefers, which is, besides just actively doing the show, one of my favorite parts of the Beefers is revisiting all of these moments. I absolutely, this match was just head and shoulders above the other ones, which were also phenomenal. Will Ospreay was the greatest storyteller of 2022 as far as like in-ring performance, and just the way that they executed this. I mean, the Wrestle Kingdom match was a different match. They were both big matches, but the Wrestle Kingdom match was like that Tokyo Dome style match. And I mean, the G1 Climax is a huge match, but just the storytelling that they initiated, where Ospreay was pulling out all of the stops, and he had essentially studied all the people who had previously beat Okada and was trying to use all of their moves on him.
Right.
And I thought for sure that it was Ospreay's year, and that's the beauty of this long-term New Japan storytelling. Whenever it works, is they string you along, and you watch this person struggle, and watching Ospreay walk to the back, like in tears, barely able to stand as Okada stands in the ring, relishing in his G1 Climax, which is just another accolade
Right.
in a very storied career. And Ospreay's out here not even just doing it in New Japan, but he's out there having the best matches anybody's doing all over the fucking world. And maybe, just maybe, that's why he can't, get to that level, and he can't beat Okada besides their history in chaos and stuff. Just really phenomenal storytelling. And this was even beats out, which is maybe the last 2 years. It's always been a Shingo Ospreay.
Shingo Ospreay, yeah, you ain't lying. But that was good.
Wait, so I just got back. What'd you guys take?
We both took Ospreay, Okada in the G1 final.
Okay, so I did some research today. I watched the last 10 minutes of each one of these matches.
Real thorough shit.
That's journalism shit right there, boy.
I also watched 2 other matches that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But
Did you watch those the last 10 minutes too?
No, I watched the entire thing.
Okay, all right. Just want to put that out there for the record.
They aren't like porn videos. Like, I mean, there's this like setup,
That's journalism.
Story, and he's just a money shot guy. He's
Hey.
like, I just give me them.
Hey, Zach, how many wrestling matches did you watch today? Shut the fuck up.
He gonna earn this motherfucking war tonight. Unmolested.
Nobody's even hitting that thing.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just both stomping.
Both stops. He hits it. It's
All
great.
right.
Go ahead.
And I want to say that I think that the Shingo Ospreay last 10 minutes and the Okada Ospreay Wrestle Kingdom last 10 minutes are the best out of these 4. I remember liking the G1 final a lot, but I think that I have to go Shingo Ospreay in the G1. And that's just personal. I know that everybody all over the world is picking Okada Ospreay in the G1 final. I'm going Shingo Ospreay.
No problem with that. 0.
Nope, not at all.
That is a dope ass match.
And
0 problem with it.
And the Naito Ospreay last 10 minutes ain't nothing to sneeze at either.
I know.
Because watching those motherfuckers try to just keep countering the Destino, it's really something. Okay, so that is, and the people had what you guys had. 50% of the vote was Okada Ospreay, 29 was Okada Ospreay Wrestle Kingdom, 17 was Shingo Ospreay, and 4% was Naito Ospreay. I'm guessing that wasn't you, Jason.
No, you know me. I'll say I don't vote number 1 and number 2. You guys had basically got the matches that I had on my list, so we're good.
All right, so let's move on
This is the beefer.
to the most hated wrestler of the year. I didn't tell you guys about this one.
Okay, I was like, what the fuck?
I put 3 people on here with other please comment, and we did get a comment.
I did see that comment.
So we had Yano, Punk, Cena, and other please comment.
I mean, come on, man. Damn.
So who's your most hated wrestler of the year, Jason?
Of the list,
What was the other comment?
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. Now there's a gentleman who
Fucking blocked.
there's a gentleman who voted, and he commented 3 times. 2 of them were "fuck Ospreay," and the other one was "Will Ospreay" when asking when the most hated wrestler of the year was.
Shout out to my boy Matt.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, that's good guy, bad guy. I saw that shit. Was like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Matt's a go hot.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah, look. That's the great part about wrestling and life in general. It's all personal preference. I ain't mad at nobody. I have a irrational hatred for Yano, so obviously that's why that came on the list. Neither here nor there. Of the list given, to me, it's hands down. It's CM Punk. I have spent way too much time bitching about this motherfucker. We've been talking about his dog, his cat, his wife, his motherfucking mother-in-law that we don't even know. There's so much just
When you call Cole Cabana's mom,
come on,
CM Punk's mother-in-law,
come on,
you're saying something different.
come on. You went that more so to my point.
That's not what you were talking about?
No. I agree with you. That whole press conference went from wrestling to, well, fuck it. I'm gonna take my shots on any and everybody.
Would Punk be your vote if these weren't the choices, or do you have somebody else?
That's
No, I made this one up at the last minute.
Probably it's a safe bet. We just spent, at least I spent way too much energy just running him down.
I almost put Carl Anderson on here.
Even more, Punk jumped into the crowd after winning the title.
Really bothered you?
Yeah, and I ran him down for that.
Oh yeah, you keep running them down for that.
Look, you put it on the tee. I'll swing at that motherfucker.
Zach, who's your pick?
It's CM Punk. I hope all the bad things in life happen to Punk and only to Punk.
Come on, man.
You
Damn.
have to excuse me. I gotta go home and put some water in Cole Cabana's mom's dish.
You ain't shit. God damn. Come on,
my
what
vote.
the fuck?
My vote is always and will always be John Cena.
Come on, man. No, you got to give that man a little credit.
Always my vote.
You got to give that a little credit.
Come find me, prototype.
About to say, there's more than that. About to say, the master of thugonomics.
I didn't even watch it when he was good.
Oh, Jesus. That's the only John Cena gimmick that I like.
Oh, he's such a cheeseball, dude. Just such a cheeseball.
Can we not give John Cena a little credit? No. Actually, I want you to give John Cena a little credit.
He's a tertiary character on the new Hawaii 5-0 or some shit.
No, get the fuck up out of here.
Ass bitch. Fucking crew cut. Fucking stolen valor from Real Military, you fucking loser.
Oh, Sharif, I'm sorry. I can't remember what you were going to tell me, but
let me stay in. I'm going to be in the Marine 5. Oh, Super 5, right, guys?
You ain't shit,
they'll
dude.
fucking kill you.
Look, as much as I don't like John Cena for totality, when he had the U.S. title open challenge, that's some of the best matches we've seen John Cena ever have. And one of the biggest knocks against John Cena is the fact that he can't wrestle. It's just it's the 5 moves of doom. Him and AJ Styles, one of the best fucking rivalries we've seen in WWE in a hot minute. As much as you want to run down John Cena.
You ever seen the movie Crank?
Yes, I have.
It wasn't good on purpose.
He's heating up.
Fuck you.
Go ahead.
Neither is he.
Go ahead, man.
All right, let's keep it moving. Hold on.
I feel like if Bill was a Make-A-Wish kid, he'd just wish for Cena just so he could say, "You fucking suck."
And on my last breath, I say, "You fucking suck, Cena."
All right.
He's heating up.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
So the turn of the year. This was kind of a slow year for the turn of the year because there were no that I could remember.
Shit.
Massive face heel turns, but the choices were Rollins, and this was my entry on there. Rollins is slow
turn
where he became a face and you didn't even know it until he was a face, and you were like, "Hold, what the fuck?" Punk turns on AEW, or the fans turn on Punk. What's your turn of the year, Jason?
For me, it's one that's not even on the list. And
please. That's the other. Please comment.
Well, then I'll go with other. I'm going with Dom turning on his daddy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That has been a running storyline ever since.
That's good.
I've been calling it. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're crazy." And now all of a sudden, they're fighting at Thanksgiving. They're fighting at Christmas. Dom's getting arrested. I'm not going to make it in jail. He comes back out in 2023 looking like a fucking G. You can't tell me.
He looks like Shane Vendrell is saying very racist shit to him as he holds a gun against his head.
Now say it on the camera, motherfucker. Okay.
He's like, "Oh, you the Los Mags?"
Okay, that's man. I want to go back and watch The Shield right now just because you said that shit. That's
the best.
Yeah, top 5 series of all time. I don't care what nobody says.
Easily.
Dom turns on his daddy. For me, is turn of the year. I agree with you a lot. It's not a great year of turns, but for me, this was the one. It was at Clash of the Castle, big ass pop, and that's usually what you want to see. Is because it's like, oh, you didn't see it coming, or it's just so impactful.
It's a great answer.
I'll go with Dom versus Ray.
What you got, Zach?
That was probably the best real answer. The only one that I threw up there, and I still think I'm going to pick it, is the fans turning on Punk. Because, dude, we went from people crying in Chicago to just absolute vitriol. Like, people were like, I never liked him. Fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very quick and a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I mean, damn, dog, you show your ass. I mean, whoop that trick. I'm just saying. I mean, he was showing his ass. At that point, you get what you get.
See, that's why it's such an unbelievable story to me, though. Like, it was so odd. Like, even in the odd world of professional wrestling,
right?
It was one of the fucking weirdest things that's ever happened.
I would have never seen it coming.
See, to me, that's way weirder than a billionaire losing his money because he tried to fuck.
I know. Trust. We've seen that shit.
Poon.
Yeah. Look, that goes back to the age of time. I was going to say when we were talking about Vince reminds.
Did you say Young Poon?
No, it goes back to the age of time. What the fuck?
I just say Young Poon.
Vince reminds me of, and I'm going to show my age for 30 seconds. Dynasty was one of my favorite fucking shows back as a kid. My mom used to make me watch that shit, and I got into the shit. He reminds me of like Blake Carrington or like J.R. Ewing. He's that dude. He was like, you can't kill this motherfucker. He's the cockroach in the room. You stomp on him, he still gets away.
That is the oldest thing you've ever said.
And it's the truth.
I'm 43, and that is, I'm like, what are you talking about?
And it's the truth.
All right.
Did he just
Google
reference
that
Dallas?
shit. Yes, I did.
Yeah, he did.
And Dynasty, goddammit. Both 80s shit.
Wow. All right. So, here, what's next? You ready?
Yes.
They brought a couple
He's heating
beefers
up.
with them.
No, that was the middle finger. You fucked that up. That's you.
They brought a couple
He's heating
beefers
up.
with them.
That was right on the edge.
They brought a
He's
couple
heating
beefers
up.
Okay.
with them.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
He's heating up.
All right.
Considering the fact that Bo can stomp on it and it can happen.
So,
yeah,
let's go with the Roman Reigns beefer, a.k.a. promo of the year.
The fact that we
Now,
dated
for-
Roman Reigns is promo of the year
For
is
those
funny.
of you that are new to the beefers, we call it the Roman Reigns promo of the year because we used to talk about how terrible of a promo Roman Reigns was. And then right after that, he won 2 years in a row the beefer for promo of the year. The one where he stood there and didn't say anything after he beat Undertaker and they just booed for 12 minutes, that one promo of the year. The other one was when he came back from having cancer. Wasn't that it?
Yes, but your reaction to it? Oh, my.
What'd I do?
Oh, you were just like, oh, fuck Roman Reigns. That motherfucker ain't shit. I mean, you ran Roman Reigns down. I'm like, dude, he's got cancer. I don't give a fuck.
No, I didn't do that.
Okay. All right.
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like me.
That doesn't sound like Bill at all.
So, the Roman Reigns beefer, a.k.a. promo of the year. God, love Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
God,
right.
I mean, now he brings so much joy. Make a wish guy. A.k.a. promo of the year is MJF/Regal, MJF Pipe Bomb. I think you guys remember that one. The Moxley Post Scrum, or Hangman Page's Workers' Rights promo. We got one comment on this, and it said, where the WWE's promo? Or where the WWE promos? And I didn't comment back to the dude, but I wanted to be like, none of them are that good.
They're in some script writer's fucking portfolio. That's where they are.
I think that Seth Rollins had a good year of promos. I think Seth Rollins is really good. I think that MVP probably had a good year of promos.
Okay.
But is there a promo that sticks out?
No. Actually,
of course there's not.
No, actually.
Cody's
yes.
return,
yes.
like his Monday Night
you
Raw.
motherfucker, you
Sorry.
shot me in the ass, Jake.
Would you put that against any or above any of these four?
I think it needs to be on the list just for the fact that Cody comes back.
So what's your vote?
I mean, for me, it's Jay White, but it's not even on the list.
I was going to put that one on the list.
To me, when Jay White wins the title at Dominion, and he's like,
remember.
this is the reason why AEW exists, because I'm the guy.
Ooh, that's good.
Blah, 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 blah. Now, that being said, for the list, I'm going back to Punk once again. I mean, as much as I don't like Punk, he has that
he's a
factor.
Well, he's a lightning rod.
He is. Okay, better choice of words. Better choice of words.
No other way to describe it.
Either you like him or you don't, but he keeps focus on him and the people around him.
I'm not even
in this scenario.
I don't even like him or don't. Like, I'm completely torn between the two at all times. I'm way more leaning towards I hate him right now, but man, he's giving me a lot of joy.
I finally understand probably what my wife feels about me when I think about CM Punk.
The same way?
Shit.
I mean, really, is there a better description of love?
Right, I started laughing and shit.
No, guys, I was joking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big ass
what
joke.
I was talking about. Yeah, I don't love him at all. Yeah, really cool.
No, I'll just say this. If CM Punk goes away and he comes back, I think that if he wants to come back to AEW or WWE or whatever, that's the road he has to go. He has to go away for a little bit. We have to forget about him.
My vote is MJF Regal. That was the one I marked out on the most. That was the one I think I watched like 4 times. I kept it DVR'd so I could keep going back and watching it, and I would like rip a bowl or rip a hit late at night. Rip a hip. Rip a rip.
Okay. Talking about me, you're ripping a hip.
Dude, you talked about Dynasty.
Hey, man, look, I could talk about Dynasty and work, 12 hours on my feet and not have a problem with it. You talking about breaking hips over here. Who's old?
What I was saying. Forget what I was saying.
Shit.
Oh, I was talking about the promo between MJF and Regal. It fucking ruled, man. Regal was so good in that promo because MJF acted all hard, and then Regal came back even harder and, just fucking crushed him. That was an incredible promo that led to an incredible fucking angle that ended up just running straight into the fucking river and drowning itself when Regal left.
Okay, that's on my turn of the year. Okay, fair enough. I have that as number 2 of my turn of the year, but
all right. But what's your promo of the year?
To me, for the
Jay
one,
White.
yeah.
Okay, Zach, what do you got?
I gotta be the. I'm not gonna be a tiebreaker. I'm just gonna continue the split because as good as the MJF Regal promo was, I really loved the pipe bomb from MJF. I loved the work shoot nature of it. When it was happening, I marked out because I had no idea whether this was actually a work or not. And then he said, "Fire me, you fucking mark." And it's not on my list of mark out moments of the year, but in retrospect, it probably should have been.
So, Jason, because Zach and I both have MJF promos, we'll ask you to be the tiebreaker. MJF Regal or MJF pipe bomb?
Between the two, it's to me, it's MJF Regal. I mean,
yes, fuck yeah.
I like the pipe bomb. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel the same way as you did as I watched it unfold. But long-term storyline, it sets up Regal turning on Mox, then MJF turning on Regal. And it was really fucking good. As much as I really wanted to vote the other way, it makes more sense this way. At least for me.
Fair enough. I got to keep this shit moving because...
Your wife's getting pissed.
No. That's not it. we're high now, and I saved all the good ones for last, and we're going to have to talk about a lot of these for a long time. And, I mean, we got a bunch to go.
Okay, never mind.
Tag Team of the Year, FTR, Briscoes, Usos, Acclaimed. Who you got? I'm taking FTR. That's the obvious pick. Anybody who takes anybody else outside of sentimentality for Jay Briscoe should have their vote ripped away. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be another of the unanimous votes for us. FTR has been the tag team of the year. They've wrestled anybody, everybody, anywhere, and everywhere. Usos, I think, and I said it last week and weeks before that. If FTR is number one, Usos to me is number two. Aussie Open should get some love in this episode. Acclaimed is probably the team that's going to win this time next year. But for me, it's FTR. You don't get. That's for the Phoenix Splash podcast. Bishamon gets a little love, but nowhere near to where we're talking about FTR. Bishamon gets the love from FTR because the fact that they held the 3 championships. So for me, it's not even a talk. It's a slam dunk. It's FTR. It's not even close. Usos, for me, if I had to go with it, it's me, FTR 1, Usos 2, probably Aussie Open 3.
I got FTR. I like my rights just right where they are. I don't want them stripped away.
It's FTR. And
Easy.
It's a no-brainer. Briscoes came in second. That might have something to do with a little bit of sentimentality because this is after Jay Briscoe passed away. But if that's sentimental, then
So
fuck
be
it.
it.
Be sentimental because
They also gave the best tag team of the year as far as accolades go, the best matches they had all year. So
okay, well, we'll come to that right now. Usos got 16%, Acclaim got 4%, FTR got 56%. So we'll go with the
Run away.
We'll go with the tag team match of the year just to follow up on it. And so I made a couple edits to this, but FTR Briscoes, the dog collar match, the double dog collar match. FTR the Briscoes 2 out of 3 falls, which was their second match, which was at Death Before Dishonor, I believe. First one was at Supercard of Honor. Second one was at Death Before Dishonor. Third one was at Final Battle.
Sounds right.
FTR versus Aussie Open, which got 0%, which was an incredible match. Like a fucking...
that's insane.
I know. And then Usos Street Profits at Money in the Bank got 3%. That was a really good match, too. But FTR Briscoe's dog collar and FTR Briscoe's 2 out of 3 falls got 97% of the votes.
Jesus Christ.
I have FTR Briscoe's dog collars, and the people had 2 at 65%. This was one of the matches I rewatched in full today. I rewatched the entire thing at
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
8:30 in the morning when I got to work today. I just set up my iPhone right there, and I got my Jabra buds now, and I just turned that match on, and like I was typing stuff, and I was just watching them bleed, and I was typing stuff. By the way, when I found out that Jay Briscoe died the other night, it was intermission at the Fox Theater, and I bought my wife tickets to go see Les Mis. So my wife, myself, and my wife's sister went to the Fox, and during intermission, you get to check your phone, because you're not supposed to have it on during the show. And I look at it, it's like Jay Briscoe died. And I guarantee you I was the only person in the Fox Theater in St. Louis that night that spent the entire second act of Les Mis thinking about Jay Briscoe. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's probably a very safe bet.
I just couldn't stop thinking about him. I was like, oh, fuck, that really fucking sucks. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Oh. Anyway.
That was that little 5-minute text thread we had.
I have FTR Briscoe's, I have FTR Briscoe's dog collar at 65%. That's also my vote. Jason, what do you got?
I said I always liked the first one the best because the first one had finality to it. 2 out of 3 always feels like you have a third fall, and it's not a knock against the match itself. The match was good, but you just knew where it was going to end. The third, the dog collar match, it's just so crazy to me where now you have Brody Lee's last match is a dog collar match. Unfortunately, Jay Briscoe's match is now the last match that I think we know of is a dog collar match, and it's the finality of a series of matches that I thought we would never see. I'm going with Briscoe's FTR dog collar match.
I've watched that match 3 times now, and for a tag team match that's a double dog collar match where one guy is tied to one guy, so you're not even working with the other guys. But even when they have the spots in the middle where they're crossing over and like they're yanking each other and shit, like it's just not a match you see very often.
No. And the fact that they pulled it off.
I don't think I've never seen a double dog collar match.
I don't think I've ever have.
That match is wild.
Yeah.
Man. Like
the spots.
It will go down in the annals as one of the great tag team matches of all time.
Yeah. Without even if Jay Briscoe, God forbid, didn't die.
Even if he hadn't died.
I think it still would be
totally agree.
One of those where in a single spot
bloody and badass, and it doesn't it's not a spot fest. But, man, they got some spots in there that are fucking
for
badass.
a single match, I think it would stand up against any other tag team match.
Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, hands down, it was that match. There are not a lot of matches that I watched twice over the course of any year just because of the sheer volume of wrestling that we have to cover and to enjoy. And when you re-watch something and revisit something, it's for a purpose, and that purpose was pure enjoyment. And I purely enjoyed this match. I think it was leagues above anything else.
Hold on. Did you hear Zach say to cover? He's a journalist.
Y'all journalists, man. I ain't no journalist, dog.
He said the amount of wrestling that we...
No.
He goes, the amount of wrestling that there is and that we have to cover. That's journalism, baby.
That's y'all, man. I ain't no journalist,
It's like the movie Spotlight.
Y'all dragging me into this
it's
motherfucker.
Like All the President's Men.
Kicking and screaming. You a journalist. No. Nah, I ain't no journalist,
it's like the movie Spotlight, but I'm one of the priests.
Somebody kicked the ground. Thank you. Somebody kicked the ground.
Unbelievable.
I love you, Zach. That's amazing. This is why I'm glad I'm not Catholic by any stretch of imagination. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I know I'm saving for last, but what I'd like to talk about now is the female wrestler of the year, which is Jamie Hayter, Bianca Belair, Shuri, or Mandy Rose, who I put in there as a goof, but who actually got a vote. Zach, who you got?
That vote subscribes to her OnlyFans. I had Shuri, and I will stick with that because she's just a phenomenal talent, and she was half of one of the best wrestling matches that I saw all year, and she held the belt for the year in the preeminent women's wrestling promotion in the entire world, and the second most popular promotion in Japan. It's not only the most popular and best women's promotion, it's like the second best wrestling promotion in Japan, which has like the best wrestling in the world. So it's Shuri.
So my vote is for Bianca Belair. I know that Jamie Hayter is massively over, and I think that's great for her, and I think that Jamie Hayter is really cool. But I think that Bianca Belair is basically otherworldly. I don't think that anybody... I think that she is like... She's basically like half Britt Baker and half Jade Cargill. Like, she is like the total package. So I'll give Bianca Belair. This is starting to sound kind of horny, but like, I'll give Bianca Belair 42%. She gets 42%, but she's my vote. My second place vote would probably be, if there was a most improved wrestler, it would be Mandy Rose. This is getting way too horny. So like, I guess I'll take Shuri, whatever,
Okay, so that takes me off the hook. Thank you. I appreciate that. As much as I love Shuri and She's a badass.
No, my vote's for Bianca Belair.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then never mind. I'm back on the hook. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Bianca's had an amazing year. No question about it. Becky, Bailey, I'll give you that. I'm sorry. This is a homer pick, and just call it for what it is. For me, the person that I was going to pick for Women's Wrestler of the Year is not even on the list. Not even going to talk about it. We've ran down Bill enough. I will agree. I will go with Shuri as Women's Wrestler of the Year.
Who?
I was going with Saya Kamatini. She's been the women's. She's been the white belt wrestler of Stardom, so that's basically their mid-card championship. She's held it for the calendar year. She's getting ready to challenge to beat the most consecutive defenses for the white belt here in like February 4th. Neither here nor there. If you're going year to year, that to me,
is anybody willing to change their vote?
No,
to find out who the actual beefer is.
No, I would go with Shuri. She ran the table up to Julia, and Julia just beat her. I have no problem with that. She ran it for a calendar year. She just couldn't get it to 366, where Saya Kamatini got to 366 and moving forward. No problem with Shuri. I'll pick Shuri.
They brought a couple beefers with them.
Not your fault.
All right. So we got the AEW match of the year, which is Punk versus MJF at Revolution, United Empire versus Death Triangle, Death Triangle versus the Elite Falls Count Anywhere, which just happened in December. That was my vote. Sorry, that's my vote. That's the vote. The only other option, I guess, could be.
No, I'm sure we're missing something. Match
I mean,
of
we're
the year,
not counting Forbidden Door.
No. I'm just trying to see where my match of the year is to see if there's
because Ospreay Orange Cassidy was better than all of these.
I threw out Jonah versus Okada just as something that was.
No, we're talking AEW.
Oh, I'm sorry. AEW match of the year.
Jonah Okada, you want to return to that, huh?
No, I'm sorry. That was mark out moment of the year. I apologize.
Oh.
Sorry, man. You got a big guy jumping off the fucking ropes.
Zach, who you got?
Well, what's the joke with that? There was something. Oh, upset. It was the upset.
Upset, yeah.
Let's not go back to it.
We forgot. We didn't do upset of the year.
Upset of the year.
We didn't do shower match of the year either.
That's my bad.
I'm sorry, man.
That's Zach's bad too. So.
No, I'm sorry.
We should both have thought of the shower match of the year.
I'm sorry, man. Look, I had to go to work. Shit, you got 4 hours. I know where I need to go to the shower for this.
Who you got? Death Triangle.
Me?
Yeah, Death Triangle versus the Elite Falls Count Anywhere. United Empire versus.
That's it. Yeah.
The Falls Count Anywhere.
The Falls Count Anywhere.
Where Kenny does the One Wing Angel off the scaffolding and Homeboy taps.
Yeah,
out.
they did the dual finish. Yeah.
There's got to be a pay-per-view match we're forgetting about.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just talked about the dog collar match.
There's so many good ones, but maybe it's a little recency bias. But
yeah, for sure.
I mean, you could run down the pay-per-view matches, but I feel like that was like the pinnacle before the Escalera de la Muerte that we saw that was this year.
There's not a Mox match.
Stop trying to speak Spanish, dude.
There's not a Mox match that I think that supersedes this. There's not Punk and MJF to me is like a vote for it just because we had this amazing run and it ended up in the dog collar match, and the dog collar match was really fucking good.
The other got 3%. Please comment. No comments. None. No. So, Death Triangle versus the Elite. Falls Count Anywhere?
I'm fine with that.
All right. Let's go to... Hold on a second. Did we do... We did female wrestler of the year. Let's do the male wrestler of the year. These are your finalists. We have one vote for somebody that's off the top 4 list, and it was Josh Alexander, and it was from our friend High Five Tom.
As well, it should be. Shit.
So we got Reigns, Moxley, Ospreay, Vikingo. My vote is for Will Ospreay. He had.
I was not expecting that at all.
What were you expecting? Oh, you were expecting Vikingo?
Yes.
No. It's for Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is having a run for the ages. They will talk about this run for years and years to come. He put on the 4 best New Japan matches this year. He might have put on the 6 best New Japan matches this year, if you really think about it, because we're not even talking about his G1, which was unbelievable. My vote's for Ospreay, and I don't think it's, well, I mean.
Well, it's arguable.
Yeah, it's
you
arguable.
Argue
There's 2 or 3. My vote's for Ospreay, Jason.
I was going in with Will Ospreay. It's on my list. I believe he is my number 1. Yes, he is. He's my number 1 guy. I have him at 1, Roman Reigns 2, Mox at 3, Speedball representing Impact at number 4. For me,
all right, Ospreay, Reigns, Moxley, Vikingo.
Not a surprise. For me, Will Ospreay is just everything you can ask for as a wrestler, especially just for me personally. I value more so what you do in ring versus outside the ring.
I mean, not for nothing. He just had the match of the year for 2023 already.
Look, I was about to say, 20 days in? Let's just see what happens. Do I agree with you? Absolutely. It's a hard high bar to go over. Let's see what happens.
Dude was doing shit in front of clap crowds.
Even
like putting on
more so to my point.
Yep.
The 4 that are on the, it's like FTR. The common denominator for match of the year is FTR. The common denominator for match or the tag team match of the year is FTR. The common denominator for just match of the year, male match of the year, is Will Ospreay. It's going to be hard for me not to agree with you on this one. For me, it's Will Ospreay, hands down.
Zach.
Will Ospreay, no question. We are unanimous.
Okay. That's our first unanimous of the night, right?
Second,
no.
Right?
Oh, FTR,
No.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
yeah, so
easy.
It seems a little obvious because I think of it the same way you guys do, the same for PWI. This is like, who gives me the good shit? Like, who gives me that shit that I need to jack right into my fucking veins? Like, the whole reason that I watch wrestling, and it's Will Ospreay.
Yep. There ain't no arguing. All right, we only have 2 categories. Or no, I'm sorry, we have 3 categories left. And so the one that we're going to tackle now is the WWE Match of the Year. The finalists were Cody versus Seth at Hell in a Cell, Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at the Castle, Cody versus Seth at WrestleMania, and Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Zach, you get to go first here.
So this is funny because my initial kind of response was like, because most sensational was like Cody Seth, and both of them. The torn pec situation is the most memorable, but then Cody coming out at WrestleMania, getting that pop, and then also
the Mania
putting
match.
On like
the Mania match is better.
Yeah, it's a better match, and just like putting on like match of the night, legitimate 5-star.
Yeah,
and then it was phenomenal. But then I think about what overachieved, which whenever we said like Gunther, Sheamus, we're like, that's probably going to be good. And then I'm like there, like watching, like in the middle of the day on a Saturday, like Phil said, you're like folding laundry, and you're just like
a fucking afternoon pay-per-view.
Nothing
so
better.
Nice.
Nothing better. It's like
I think I was folding laundry too.
Yeah, it's just lovely. It's like and also just overachieved, and it was just big meaty men slapping meat, and man, I just love those kinds of matches. So I'm giving it to Gunther Sheamus.
Jason. So you got Cody, Seth, Hell in a Cell, Sheamus, Gunther, Clash at the Castle.
Right.
Cody, Seth at Mania, Logan Paul, Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Who you got?
All great picks. Jesus Christ. Now you're making me think. My knee-jerk reaction was going into it. I had Cody. I'm sorry. I had a lot of these guys. Cody and Seth for Hell in a Cell. I had Sheamus and Gunther for Clash of the Castle. I think Clash of the Castle just doesn't get a lot of credit for what it was as a pay-per-view. It's the first time they've been over in Europe in 20-plus years, give or take. Crowd was hot. I think this match delivered. I'm just going to stick to it. I'm sticking to my guns. Don't get me wrong. Cody and Seth was great just because you had Cody clearly injured coming into that match and delivering an amazing performance. But for me, I'm a guy that likes to go from start to finish. The crowd, the European crowd was hot. I'm glad they're getting the Money in the Bank for 2023 this year. I'm going with Jesus Christ. Sheamus versus Gunther as WWE match of the year. It was like, I wish it was the remix. Your boy just fucked that shit up.
So this ended up being like the hardest vote for me when I was thinking about it, because Cody, Seth, Hell in a Cell has the spectacle of the torn pec, right? And he just looks so,
he wrestled a great
so
match with one arm.
He looks so fucking gnarly. Sheamus versus Gunther, Clash of the Castle. I remember looking forward to it, and obviously I am a Walter/Gunther mark. He has won 2 matches of the year as my beefers over the 5 years that we've done it before, which is
6.
Something. Cody versus Seth at Mania. That was my favorite part of the entire weekend, and that includes Stone Cold, who's my dude. But Cody versus Seth fucking ruled. And Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns, I remember exactly where I was. I'll never forget it because I was in Columbia. I went and saw Mizzou barely lose to Kentucky. And then me and my brother partied.
Shaky Jake?
Yeah, and
good thing this isn't a visual medium.
It's an audio medium, but we were up. What I'm trying to say is that we were up late. And I was like, hey, let me give you my Peacock password. I want to see what happened with Logan Paul and Roman Reigns today. And me and my brother sat there, and my brother doesn't watch wrestling with me. And he was like, this Logan Paul dude fucking rules. He's like, look at this idiot. He's like, just look at him. So I have very fond memories of that. I watched the last 10 minutes of 4 matches today. I watched 2 full matches. One of them was the Briscoes versus FTR and the Dog Collar. The other one was Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash in the Castle. I think that this is actually my match of the year.
Like overall.
Overall. I think that if you take the 4 matches that we talked about, Vikingo versus Phoenix, Sheamus versus Gunther,
Ospreay
Okada, and Death Triangle versus the Elite, I think that this is my favorite match.
Okay.
It is so much fun and so different than the way that you think about like a great 23-minute match these days. Like, you don't think about like 2 dudes just beating the fuck out of each other for 23 minutes. And it was so different than everything, but man, they made it so compelling. And also, you can never overestimate how good a great crowd is. And that was a great crowd. And
they were ready for that shit. I was
my God. So
like
much.
You said, perfect in the middle of the afternoon. I was like, okay,
So
I got my
much
shit
fun.
ironed. I'm ready to go. Just do this shit. I'm ready to run out the door
So
as soon as it's over.
if you had to vote for your favorite match of the year overall, what would you take?
Jesus, no, I'm not going to. I watch way too much wrestling.
I don't think I said that for our promo of the year that it was tied on Twitter also. Did I say that?
You did that.
The MJF and Regal and MJF Pipe Bomb both ended up at 40%. And that was the one that we had the hardest time coming up with also. So, something to think about. Very interesting.
The beefers just causing motherfucking controversy left and right. Yeah.
They brought a couple
He's heating
beefers
up.
with it.
That was you. That was you.
This is the beefer.
Okay.
They brought a couple
He's
beefers
heating up.
with
Okay,
it.
that wasn't you.
All right. So we got our last one tonight. The best one. And it's the mark out moment of the year. So, your mileage may vary on these. I'm sure there are ones that we forgot about. But I feel like the ones that are on here, and then we have one more. Sorry, I forgot about that. But the mark out moment of the year, it's Stone Cold at WrestleMania, which actually lasted over 2 nights and included the Vince Stunner. Cody wrestles injured, Bray Wyatt returns, or Brock Lesnar with the tractor at SummerSlam.
The crazy part about it is, for me, all are very, nominatable moments. For me, it was Cody coming back at WrestleMania. I knew you were still going to see it, but to actually see it, something different. Now, that being said, the list that we have, say it again.
Stone Cold at WrestleMania.
Check.
Cody wrestles injured. Bray Wyatt returns, and Brock with the tractor at SummerSlam.
To me, it's
All WWE, by the way.
Yeah, so there you go for motherfuckers that crying that we ain't talking about WWE. For me, it's Cody. I mean, when he opened up his shirt, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So just for the record, I think that Regal and MJF, that promo, to me, that was probably the markout moment of the
I have
year.
that on my list as the number 4. Cody WrestleMania 1,
But
Jonah Okada 2, Speedball calling out for 3, and then that for 4.
The reason I don't put it as the markout moment of the year is because it's part of a promo. These other things, I'm not sure that you can put them in any other type of category. Where it's Stone Cold at WrestleMania. I mean, just Stone Cold being around and it was so much fun. Stone Cold is so in his groove. He just knows that he has to go out there, talk a bunch of shit, stun him. But he actually had a match with Kevin Owens. It was cool. Cody wrestles injured. I don't know what else you would call it except for match of the year. Bray Wyatt returns. There's no return of the year beefer. And Brock with the tractor at SummerSlam. So, I mean, to me, there are moments that are more mark-out moments, but these are things that are kind of
They stand out.
They stand out, and they don't have. They're uncategorizable.
Okay, I mean, look.
So what's your? You said Cody returning at WrestleMania. What's yours, Zach?
No, for the list.
Sorry. Okay.
For the list that you're giving me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cody wrestles injured is not at WrestleMania.
Cody wrestling injured. I will pick that.
Okay.
I totally agree with that. I have no problem with that.
Zach, what you got?
Stone Cold at WrestleMania. It was just I was just back, in Southern Illinois, trying to make real tree cool again.
He's heating up. There's nothing like.
I don't even know why that's funny.
There's nothing like watching.
Never done it.
Nothing like seeing just sitting there in your recliner, and then all of a sudden Stone Cold comes, and you're just high enough, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, and you just lean back into it, and Stone Cold just starts stunning motherfuckers. God, it was the best. It's Stone Cold WrestleMania. It did not win the beefer amongst the people.
Who won?
Cody wrestles injured, got 40%.
Yeah.
Stone Cold at WrestleMania got 37%.
Okay, close.
Bray Wyatt returns, got 19%.
That's it?
I guess that's how many burners he has. And then,
you ain't shit. Come on, man. People was going ape shit over that.
and then
How many burners?
Brock with the tractor at SummerSlam got 4%.
Okay.
So we only have one left. Hold on a second.
They brought a couple.
He's heating up.
That wasn't you.
This is the
Okay, that was okay. You're
Hold
good
on.
on that.
Let him say it.
This is the beefer. They brought a couple beefers with them.
So we only got one left, and this was a new one this year, too. And I put the most hated BFR podcaster of the year. So there were three choices. There was Bill,
Right.
there was JCB, and there was Two Beer.
Let's say there's somebody that we don't know.
We got 20 write-ins.
20 write-ins.
Yeah, with others.
Jesus.
17 were from Murray and 3 were Joe. So actually, Murray won.
Right. Wait, shit. Hey,
I can't
Murray,
wait
I love you, brother. Don't listen
to
to Don't listen to this man. You're all good.
Bill got 47%, which is a lot. Two Beer got 37%, which I was super surprised at. And when I showed my wife this tonight at dinner. She goes, "Why does everybody hate Zach?" And I was like, I have no idea. I think he's cool. Jason thought he was going to come in first, but he came in dead last with 16%. JCB, you are the baby face.
Look, I say
the band from Ringside Podcast.
Look, I say the least offensive shit. So I mean, to me, that's a low bar as far as I'm concerned.
I just want to offer my best wishes to all the haters and losers on this special day.
I love you, man. That's great.
Okay, so I didn't do any research this week except for all this work that I did here about the Beefers. So I don't have any birthdays this week. I will say that we appreciate you guys.
Oh, that works. I'm like,
They bought a couple beefers with
We appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, listening to us, voting on the Beavers. This was so much fun.
Oh
For Jason
my God.
Cornelius Bell, for
Check,
Vice,
check.
for Murray the Merman Murray, for
Check.
Patriot Pat, for the podcast I
Check.
don't do anymore,
Check.
for my wife, for my kid.
Check.
R.I.P. to my Uncle Don Moxley. He was a real one. I loved
Check.
him. For who else am I missing?
Two Beer Zach Pullman.
I didn't say Two Beer Zach Bowman?
Never.
Oh, for him too. And everybody. Who the heels?
Boo!
them. Bought a couple beefers with them.
And when we lose all control, we're banned from ringside.
This is the beefer.
Know what I am, I'm a common man. I'm
They
banned
bought a
from
couple beefers
ringside.
with them.
Ditch that 9 to 5.
This
time
is the
to be
beef.
alive. This is banned from
They bought a
ringside.
couple beefers with them.
Okay.